Debuting at Fantastic Fest in Austin, Texas back in 2023, Macon Blair, an actor and filmmaker most recognisable for his roles in Blue Ruin and Green Room, presented his directorial follow-up to I Don't Feel at Home in This World Anymore, the remake of The Toxic Avenger. Despite being met with praise at its screening and buzz amongst the genre film festivals where it appeared, at the time of recording this video, the film even earned a 92% aggregate score on Rotten Tomatoes, based on 25 reviews, and yet, Macon Blair's The Toxic Avenger unfortunately remains unavailable for the wider public, garnering curiosity amidst potential audiences who long to see the film reach the light of day. Before diving into the difficulties this particular film has faced, it's worth acknowledging the legacy behind Macon Blair's The Toxic Avenger remake. Based on the cult classic horror comedy from Troma, an independent production company led by Lloyd Kaufman, infamous for its heightened gory violence and often crude off-colour brand of humour. Originally, The Toxic Avenger served as a splatter-filled satire of the comic book superhero origin story format, following its bullied janitor protagonist on a rampage of righteousness after falling into a vat of toxic waste. While embracing an element of parody aimed towards bigger, more successful superhero contemporaries, The Toxic Avenger earned its own dedicated following which spanned sequels, an animated series, and even a string of Marvel comic books, coming full circle as one of the comic book legends it originally parodied. With the cult film status of the original film, and its success spreading through other media, a franchise remake amidst the current day mainstream popularity of superheroes seemed inevitable, but an alternative spin that skewers the almost corporate polish of bigger budget productions would likely be welcomed by modern day cult cinema lovers. Despite the film's positive buzz during its limited film festival circuit, as well as a recognisable cast consisting of Elijah Wood, Kevin Bacon, Peter Dinklage and Jacob Tremblay, Macon Blair's The Toxic Avenger has struggled to reach the wider public. Jordan Rumi, for World of Real, summarises the situation concisely. It's been crickets. We haven't heard much about it. Blair's film, rated R for strong violence, screened at a handful of genre film festivals. The reviews have been decent, however the film still has no distributor. The lack of distribution is the reason why the Toxic Avenger remake has currently not appeared in public theatres, on streaming, or through physical media. This becomes a disappointment both for those who were curious about the film due to the positive reaction that surrounded it, and for the filmmakers themselves who placed great effort, enthusiasm, and passion into a project to be brought to an audience, only for their final film to be underseen. Unlike more conventional remakes, The Toxic Avenger always remained on the fringe of cult weird cinema, and from the trailer that still remains in the public eye, it was clear that the intended audience was for the lovers of weird. Later in Jordan Rumi's piece for World of Real, he elaborates further as to the reasoning why The Toxic Avenger has yet to secure a distribution deal, citing both a producer and a filmmaker who worked on the film. I reached out to a producer, and they tell me the film is unreleasable, and that its commercial prospects are too out there for theatrical release. They believe that if the film does get picked up, it would most likely go straight to video on demand or streaming. If it had great reviews, then maybe the forecast would be a little rosier, but there isn't much potential. It's too niche. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if we see it on Tubi a few years from now. Filmmaker and producer Adam Masnick recently went on Twitter/X and confirmed that the film has been deemed not safe enough to market, which he claims is why no one has stepped up to distribute it. When all is said and done, it could maybe even turn out to be lost media. A barrier for filmmaking can, if intending to have your film reach a wider audience, be distribution. Many films, despite a critically positive reception, can unfortunately fall through the cracks if the distribution deal is insecure, and films that were once previously distributed can, in the long run, become more difficult to access if their release is not renewed. This has become the case for a significant variety of films over time, with organisations like Missing Movies striving to collect and archive these films lost within a distribution limbo, seeking opportunities to re-release them to the wider public. I have previously discussed in an older video why some films fall through the cracks like this, not receiving distribution, and disappointingly, one of the reasons is similar to that outlined by Adam Masnick. If a distributor doesn't see an audience for the film, they won't pick it up. The lack of distribution options available for a film like The Toxic Avenger could run the risk of the film becoming an example of lost media, but there is a silver lining to the film's tumultuous journey here, that maybe sometime in the near future the film will finally see the light of day. Speaking with Jamie Girac of comicbook.com, an interview that would later be cited within Hollywood Reporter, the film's star Peter Dinklage spoke about his hopes of seeing the film finally receive a release, acknowledging his lack of authority on the process, but sharing his optimism for both Macon Blair and The Toxic Avenger. "No, I'm not a producer on it. I don't know," Dinklage replied when asked if he knew anything about The Toxic Avenger's release date. "I do want it to get out there into the world because it was a really big hit at Fantastic Fest in Austin, and Macon Blair, the writer-director, he's incredible. He's one of my favourite people and favourite artists, so hopefully it will have its day in the Toxic Sun." While this doesn't provide a definite answer to when the film will eventually be released, Peter Dinklage carries an influence and a platform that can bring more awareness to the film's current state. In conclusion, while The Toxic Avenger's circumstances might seem slightly more hopeful than the infamous Coyote vs Acme, nobody has claimed to delete Toxic just yet, there are still concerns over the film's difficulties in receiving a wider release from filmmakers and curious potential audiences alike. One of the key things that we can do as an audience is to keep The Toxic Avenger in the public consciousness, whether sharing updates online or telling a friend or two about this currently unavailable film, supporting filmmakers like Macon Blair in their creative efforts by streaming or purchasing their works, and to even politely inquire with distributors, whether on social media or via email, if they would consider releasing the film. It's a long shot, but letting it be known that there is a clear audience that craves the release of Toxie is a meaningful start. A special thank you to my incredible tier patron supporter Gil, and my super tier patron supporter Constantin Bombelli.